What if Captain America was secretly the reason the multiverse is falling apart? That's the shocking question Marvel fans are asking after brand new reports revealed Chris Evans has already filmed scenes for Avengers Doomsday. And here's the part no one saw coming: he wasn't filming alone. Two other actors, still unconfirmed, were right there with him, and insiders say their roles could completely change the direction of the movie. Now, this isn't just another wild internet rumor. The set itself was a perfect replica of the house we last saw in Endgame, the one where Steve Rogers finally got his dance with Peggy Carter. The code name used on set? Luke Cage. That tiny detail is what really set Marvel fans into overdrive, because it means Marvel is deliberately hiding who Chris Evans was filming with and why this scene matters so much. If that wasn't enough, Deadline had already confirmed months ago that Hayley Atwell would be back as Agent Carter, not Captain Carter, but Peggy herself. That alone would have been a huge headline. But when you add in the fact that Chris Evans was there too, and now throw two mystery actors into the mix, it raises way bigger questions. Who's visiting Steve and Peggy at this moment in time? And why would Marvel go to such lengths to keep it secret? And here's where things get even more interesting. Trusted industry insiders like Daniel Brickman and Jeff Snyder have both spoken about this shoot, with Brickman flat out confirming that yes, scenes were filmed with Steve Rogers, Peggy Carter, and two additional unnamed characters. He didn't reveal who they were, but the very fact he confirmed it adds a ton of weight. These aren't random whispers, they're backed by people with a track record of being right about Marvel's biggest scoops. But before we break down the top theories about who those characters could be, let's set the stage. Because if this leak is accurate, we're not just looking at a cameo, we're looking at Marvel planting the seeds for one of the most shocking storylines in the entire Multiverse Saga. To really understand why this leak is so important, we have to rewind to December of last year. That's when Deadline ran a headline that shook Marvel fans, confirming Hayley Atwell would reprise her role as Agent Carter in Avengers Doomsday. Not Captain Carter from the multiverse, but Peggy Carter herself. That alone was enough to spark endless theories. After all, Peggy's story had already felt complete in Endgame, where Steve Rogers finally stayed behind to live a normal life with her. So why would Marvel bring her back now, unless she had a much bigger role to play? But here's where it got even bigger. That same report hinted Chris Evans would likely return as Steve Rogers. And almost immediately after, whispers started circulating online about set leaks that backed it up. Fans spotted a reconstructed version of the exact house where Steve and Peggy shared their final moment at the end of Endgame. The kicker? The production used the code name Luke Cage to disguise what was really happening on set. When you put all of that together, Hayley Atwell confirmed, Chris Evans reportedly back, a recreated Endgame location, and now insiders saying two mystery actors were part of the shoot. It suddenly looks like Marvel isn't just revisiting the past. They're rewriting it. And if that's the case, then the big question becomes, who were those mystery characters on set with Steve and Peggy? Because whoever they aren't just background players, they're there to push the story in an entirely new direction. Now, here's where the story stops being just speculation and starts carrying real weight. Because this latest update didn't come from some anonymous post on Reddit, it came from Daniel Brickman, better known online as RPK, one of the most trusted Marvel insiders working today. Brickman has been behind some of the biggest scoops of the last few years, with a track record that puts him ahead of most other so-called leakers. And this time, he didn't mince words. His report was clear: I can confirm they are shooting scenes with Peggy and Steve Rogers and two other mystery actors. That statement alone confirms a few things. First, Hayley Atwell's return isn't just rumor, it's happening. Second, Chris Evans is absolutely back as Steve Rogers. And third, Marvel has quietly slipped two more characters into the mix without revealing who they are. But Brickman isn't the only one saying this. Jeff Snyder, another industry insider who has built a reputation for breaking accurate Hollywood news, has backed up similar reports. When two voices with proven track records are saying the same thing, it's not just background noise anymore. It's something worth paying attention to. Of course, even the most reliable insiders aren't right 100% of the time. Marvel is notorious for planting misdirection to throw fans off the trail. But when multiple credible sources line up on the same story, the odds go way up that what we're hearing has a solid foundation in reality. So that leaves us staring down the real mystery. If Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter are confirmed, then who exactly are these two secret actors? And why are their roles important enough to be hidden this carefully? Let's start with the boldest possibility: Victor Von Doom himself. Imagine Steve Rogers opening the door of that quiet Endgame house, only to find Marvel's most dangerous villain standing there. Why Doom? Recent leaks suggest he's on a mission to eliminate anyone who doesn't belong in their timeline, anyone who may have caused multiversal damage. And that brings us straight back to Steve Rogers. By going back in time to stay with Peggy, Steve may have triggered an incursion without realizing it. If that's true, then Doom showing up at his doorstep makes perfect sense. And remember, insiders also said there were 2 actors in that scene. That's why some fans believe Doom might not be alone, he could be bringing Franklin Richards with him, or another major ally, setting up the Fantastic Four storyline at the same time. If this is the case, we might be looking at one of the earliest confrontations in Avengers, Doomsday, Captain America vs. Dr. Doom. A scene like that would not only shock fans, it would instantly raise the stakes for the entire movie. Of course, not every theory points to a villain. Another strong possibility is that the mystery visitors are Steve's closest allies, Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes. Think about it, Sam is the new Captain America, carrying Steve's shield and legacy. Bucky is the lifelong friend who's fought by his side through every battle. If anyone had reason to track Steve down, it would be them. Their mission? To convince him that the fight isn't over, and that the Avengers need him once again. This would give the scene a very different energy, less about danger, and more about loyalty and unfinished business. Instead of a confrontation, it would be a plea, 2 heroes standing together, asking Steve to come back to the world he thought he'd left behind. Another possibility comes straight from the multiverse itself, Loki and Thor. Recent set leaks showed Thor inside the TVA, which instantly sparked speculation that he could be teaming up with his brother again. If Loki really is trying to assemble his own team, who better to recruit than Steve Rogers? The irony is almost perfect, the same god who mocked Cap back in the first Avengers movie now realizing he needs him for the biggest battle yet. And with Thor by his side, it would make sense. Steve has proven himself worthy before, even wielding Mjolnir. Bringing him back could be a key move in building a multiversal Avengers team, one that might not survive without Captain America at its heart. There are also a few runner-up theories worth mentioning. Some fans believe Reed Richards or another member of the Fantastic Four could be the mystery visitor, using new tech to travel across timelines and recruit Steve. Others point to America Chavez, one of the only heroes who can freely jump through the multiverse, possibly arriving with Wong or even another Avenger to bring Steve back into the fight. The truth is, with infinite timelines in play, Marvel has endless options. Any of these characters could make sense, and the secrecy only makes the reveal that much bigger. What's clear is that whoever shows up alongside Steve and Peggy, it won't be a small cameo, it will be a turning point for Avengers Doomsday. So now the big question comes back to you, who do you think those 2 mystery characters really are? Do you want to see Steve return as the younger Nomad version, or were you hoping for Old Man Cap? Would you rather the scene set up Doom's arrival, or an emotional reunion with Sam and Bucky? Drop your theories in the comments, because this is one of those leaks where the fan speculation is just as exciting as the scoop itself. And who knows, your theory might end up being the one Marvel actually goes with. Whichever version turns out to be true, one thing is certain, Avengers Doomsday is already shaping up to be one of Marvel's most unpredictable films yet. Between Steve Rogers returning, Peggy Carter stepping back into the story, and the mystery of who else joins them, Marvel is clearly hiding something massive. And that's exactly why fans can't stop talking about it, because the reveal of those 2 hidden characters could end up being the twist that changes everything we thought we knew about the Multiverse Saga.